Hello, welcome to Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft. This is Richard. I'm up here at the dojo. I've got class in about 45 minutes, but before that happens, I have some more dirt. We are going to extract the clay from that, but I want to weigh it this time just to find out exactly how much dirt that I have. The last time I didn't weigh it, and with a little bit of internet research and a little bit of math, I figured out that I had about, I think it was 27.5 pounds of dirt, and I extracted 1.5 pounds of clay from that. So this time I'm going to make sure I know how much dirt I start with, and we'll see how much clay we end up with. I dug it from the same little area, so it should produce about the same amount. So let's go find out how much that dirt weighs. Alrighty there, so we're in one of the small exercise rooms. Right, there we go, there's the mat, there's the dojo. Right there, right by the dojo. So we are going to take this bucket of dirt, and this is the small bucket that I have, and we're gonna put it right over here, and we're gonna weigh it and find out exactly how much it weighs. 28.6. Let me zoom in on that. 28.6 pounds. So pretty close to 28.5. It's only a pound more than what I had before. So I should get about 1.5 pounds or maybe a little bit more of clay out of that. We'll see. All right, so there we go. 28.6 pounds of dirt, and we'll see how much clay we can get out of that. If you guys don't know, I do have a YouTube channel for my martial arts. If anybody's interested, it's Zenshin Academy, Zenshin Academy. And I focus on Aikido principles for white belt to black belt. And then after you gain your black belt, then we turn into more of an Aikijitsu, and then it opens up into everything. I am a firm believer that all 4 ranges of combat are necessary for a good rounded martial art, as well as art and combat with a little bit of competition. I'm not really huge on competition anymore. I used to be. For those of you who don't know, I did in the early 90s compete in karate tournaments. I sucked at it, but I did. I was in the early mid 2000s. I was a professional MMA fighter, and I fought for Cage Rage, and I did win the Cage Rage middleweight title, and ended up retiring with that. So, and I've spent my entire life doing martial arts. I started in 1978 when I was 12 years old, and I'll be 58 this year, and I'm still doing it. So, large variety of different martial arts I've studied throughout my life. I've very eclectic. I've picked from this, that, and the other, found what I like, formed it all into a nice chunky ball, and now I have Zenshin Self-Defense Academy. So anyway, if you're interested in martial arts, please go over and check out Zenshin Academy. But the dirt, again, I did not weigh that first amount of dirt, and all I did, I went on the internet, and because I thought I had about 2.5 gallons of dirt, but I wasn't sure how much that would weigh. So I got on the internet, I found out how much a gallon of dirt weighs about. So all I had to do was double that, and then half that, half one of those to get the 2.5 gallons. And it came up to, I think it was like 27.5 pounds guesstimate, and that was 28.6, so that's about the same amount. And I did pull 1.5 pounds of clay, pure 100% Indiana clay, out of that 27.5 pounds of dirt. So I'm expecting about the same with the dirt that we just saw there. That'll happen in a few days. I probably won't do a video on it. Because I just recently did a video on extracting clay from dirt. So that, and then I did a second video. So I probably won't need to do another one, but I will let you guys know how much clay I did get out of that 28.5 pounds. So let's just continue and get that done. All right, as you can see, this one here is the first one. It weighs 1.5 pounds that I did. This one here, and this one over here I did on camera. This is the one that I did on camera. This one over here I just did last night. It's much bigger. It's going to weigh more. I don't know how much it's going to weigh, but I decided to bring them both out and let them sit in the sun and dry a little bit more. So I'm on the fence about completely drying them out and making powder out of them and storing it that way, or storing it like this. I kind of want to store it when it's still pliable, but I'm wondering if maybe drying it out completely and then powdering it would be a more long-term storage way of doing it. I'm not sure, but regardless, the second batch I could have gotten a lot more clay out of it, but while I was tightening up the bag that it was in to get some of the water to come out, the cloth tore. Must have just been unable to sustain maybe the cloth was just worn and kind of rotted, I don't know. But regardless, it was a brand new pillowcase, but it just didn't sustain what I was doing with it, and it broke, and a lot of the clay got thrown out in the yard, and so I lost some of the clay on that second batch, but I still got a whole heck of a lot more. But regardless, I think I'm going to put it all together and leave it not quite wet. I want to dry it out just a little bit. I think it was just a little bit too wet to store in that plastic bag. But again, I would like to powder it into a dust, but I don't know if I really want to do that or not. I'm not sure. So I think I'll leave it the way it is, let it dry for a couple more hours, and then put it back into the plastic bag. I can take it up to the dojo tomorrow and weigh it. I know that the small one was 1.5 pounds, so even if I mix them together, which I'm going to do, all I have to do is take whatever it weighs now and just subtract the 1.5 pounds, and that'll be how much I got out of the second batch. But it's a decent amount of clay. I'd like to make something out of it. I don't know what I want to do with it right at the moment, and I'm still on the fence about drying it completely out and then putting it in a pestle and mortar and pestle and grinding it up into powder and storing it that way. I don't know. I just can't make a decision on that right now. So regardless, we're where we are, and hopefully tomorrow I'll find out how much, as far as weight goes, how much clay I have. And I'm having a great time extracting. There's a lot of clay in that dirt. A lot of clay in that dirt. So I'm going to go ahead and probably do it again. I'm probably going to gather up some more. I'd like to get a good amount of it, and that's why I'm thinking that I probably should dry it completely out and powder it, because with the amount that I would like to gather, I just don't, it would be extremely heavy, and I don't know where I would store it. And it would be easier, I think, to store it in powder form than in the more wet form. And again, it probably would last longer. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that it would, I mean, just because of the wetness, even if it was less wet, it would probably still draw mold at some point. So probably should powder it. I don't know. The decision on this one is kind of, I don't know, one way or another. So there we go. So hopefully tomorrow I'll let you guys know how much that I have out of the two. And again, like I said, I could have gotten much more out of that first one, but I had the little accident, and I also spilt some of the water, the clay water that I was draining. It got a little over rambunctious and just went everywhere, and I probably lost at least half a pound of clay just from that. Plus the bag broke, and I lost a little bit of clay from that. So who knows how much I could have drawn from it. But again, I've got plenty of access right at the moment to get more. So we'll see what we can do. I'm in the kitchen, kind of doing kitchen-y things, but it's actually going to be this. I have the clay that I have extracted, and I am going to dehydrate it, because I think it would be safer and better to powder it. That way it'll last longer. And so there we go. So that's what I'm going to do. So the first batch was 1.5 pounds. I just weighed both batches together and it came out to 4 pounds. So there we go. I'm not sure how much the first batch actually, how much dirt I had to make it. So I'm not 100% sure the difference between all that, but we are going to put them on this dehydrating. Let me get the, pardon me. I'm going to go ahead and pull out some wax paper. And I'm going to sit that here. And I'm going to go ahead and lay this clay out. Try to flatten it out nicely. I was out in the hallway and there are smokers around here, and it really messes with my lungs. Anyway, I'm going to flatten this stuff out a little bit here, and then I'm going to dehydrate it into a very dry powder. Which will allow me to hopefully store it a lot longer, and it won't make mold or anything like that. So here we go. I'm going to put this in the air dryer. Let's go do that. Alrighty. Oh, tear that off. And we'll set that in there. Well, we better cut that a little bit. Hold on one second. Alright, so there we go. We got it cut a little bit better. We're going to go ahead and take this clay and we'll set it in there. And we got 2 more to do, and I'll get right back with you. Alrighty, so here's the third one. So there's 1, 2, and number 3. We're going to stick all this in. It shouldn't take more than an hour for this to get dehydrated enough to turn into a powder, or well, a solid. But once we get it into, got clay all in my hands. Once we get it into the dryness that I want, we're going to go ahead and grind it up, and then I can store it. And yeah, I'll show you what I'm going to store it in here in a little bit. Bingo bango. So we're going to let that dehydrate for about an hour or so, and this container here is what we're going to store the dry clay in, the powdered clay. And hopefully, I don't have anything right now that can crumble it up to powder. My daughter has a very wonderful mortar and pestle. I'm going to talk to her about maybe borrowing it long enough to do that, or getting another grinder, blender slash thing, so that I can get it powdered that way as well. So one way or another, I'm going to get it powdered, but right now it's just going to have to get dry first. Alrighty, so it has been not quite 2 hours, but pretty close, and I've got the top layer of clay dried enough where I can start grinding it up. So here's the first batch of it, and for now I'm going to go ahead and leave it chunked the way it is in there. I will start grinding it and getting it into powder, but I'm going to wait until I get all 4 pounds of it before I start trying to grind it down into powder. Alrighty, so it's May 2nd, about 10:20 at night. I'm out here on the patio, and we're going to continue working on this clay. So I have the 4 pounds of clay in this plastic container here, and it's been dehydrated and dried. Now here, this is nice. This is marble, and oh, look at that thing, mortar and pestle. This thing is huge. Look how nice that is. I borrowed this off of my daughter, daughter number 1. She has 2 of these. I'd love to get my hands on one of these. Anyway, I borrowed this one for a few days. I'd like to get it back to her tomorrow, maybe not tomorrow, but by Saturday. I'm gonna go pick up the kids for class, my Aikido class, and I told her I would try to get it back to her by then. I've had it for 2 days now and haven't done anything with it. I just like having it around the house. It's freaking awesome. So anyway, I'm gonna take some of this clay, and I'm going to there, and we're just going to grind it up into powder. This is going to take some time. I may not get it all done tonight, but there's no need for you to hang around as long as it's going to take me to do this. So when I get it pretty well ground up, I'll get back with you. Beckett's here. He's helping. Look at that. There you go. Mush it up.
Let's play with the bag. That's all you can do.
Want to play with the bag?
Give kid a mortar and pestle, all he wants is that.
Yeah, we're getting here. Nope, don't mess with it though. No. No. Let's leave it in here. You gotta mush it up. Yeah, there you go. Mush it up.
Is it heavy? Is it heavy, Becky?
Alright, it's not completely 100% powdered, but it is pretty close. It's pretty good for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump it back into the plastic container in which it's going to live, and add some more and to continue to keep doing this until I get it all completely powdered. So it's still a little rough, but it's pretty decent right now. And it's good enough for me to continue on with more. Well, it's a beginning. Okay, so we got all that taken care of. I have it somewhat powdered. It's not completely powdered. There's still a little rock. Well, not rock, but small pebbles in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sieve this and try to get just the powder out. And then what's left, I'm going to put back into my mortar and pestle, and I'm going to give it a little more of a grind. So let's take a look at that. Alright, so we're going to try to see if we can't sift as much of this powder as possible. And then the powder will go down into here. And what's left will go back into the mortar and pestle, and we'll give it a little grind. So I'm going to do the complete 4 pounds. In that manner. When I get it complete, I'll get back with you. And now I'm just going to take what's left and I'm going to continue to grind it. And we will keep doing this until I get it all powdered. Alright, we are getting very, very close. I've almost got it all completely done. So I will keep working on this, and we are very, very close to having all 4 pounds of this clay ground up into powder. And I will get right back with you in a moment. Alright, so the last little smidgen is in there. Let's see what we got here. Well, we'll go ahead and give that little bit there a once over. And what doesn't come out of this as powder will just get tossed. Alrighty, and we'll just toss that little wee bit there. Got a little grass in it anyway. Okay, so the very last and only thing left to do in this entire series is to weigh the powder and see how close we are to 4 pounds. Now, I do not know how much the plastic jug weighs, so we're going to have to take into consideration that that's going to be a couple ounces, maybe a couple points there somewhere. I did not weigh it beforehand, so we're going to have to maybe deduct 0.1, 0.2, something like that. I have no idea. But we'll see how close we get to 4 pounds.
One over there you can take and weigh it.
Is there? No, those are all full of food for the kids, yeah. So we'll just finish up the entire series of collecting dirt, making clay, dehydrating the clay, and then powdering the clay, and then storing it in a container. So once we get all of that complete, and once I weigh it today, that whole series will be complete. Then we are going to make some alchemy clay, and we are going to make something, and we'll see how that works. So until we get to that point, thank you guys for watching Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft, and enjoy the outdoors, even if it's just your own backyard.